Welcome to the another part of book shopping cart series. We are creating this project in .NET 7 MVC, and this project contains the sum of the modules of e-commerce projects like displaying products, managing shopping cart, and displaying user panel with his orders. And it is not the first video of this series. If you haven't seen other videos, you can check out this playlist. If you don't know me, my name is Ravindra and I am your instructor for this course. So let's move ahead in this lesson. Okay, so first thing I want to do here, I want to change this design a little bit. That was looking not that much great. Actually, everything is looking so much big there. All of these cars are too much big because of these images. So let's change it to 180 pixel. And okay, so let's see, and let's change its width 1211 rem. Okay, and let's increase its margin little bit. I guess we are fine. And I want to do one more thing here. Just remove all of these paragraphs. Let's put all of them inside here in a single paragraph. So let's cut this guy, paste it here. Okay, now let's put a B tag here. It means this genre will be bold here. So let's put this B tag here also, here also. Let's put a space here. That's fine. Here and here. Okay, now let's check that everything is good or not. Yeah, now it is looking little bit better, but not that great. But we are gonna leave it just like as it is. Okay, here this price, let's see why. Okay, so this price is coming here. So what we can do here, can we put BR here? Actually, it's not a good practice, and we should find some proper solution here. But right now we are in a little bit hurry. Okay, so this BR is not working. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it is working now. And now it is looking okay. I'm not impressed with this design right now, but that should do work. Let's move to the functionality from this designing part. Now let's see what we can do. So let's work on that shopping cart. So what we are going to do, let's create a repository here and let's name it public class. So it will be class. Let's name it cart repository. Okay, so it will be a cart repository. Let's define some method here. So let's guess that it is a boolean type, public bool, and let's see, let's here add to cart. Let's name add item. So let's type here constructor CTOR, double tap, and here just type what was our application DB context. Let's see, application DB context. Okay, so just type here application DB context. Let's name it DB. Press Ctrl dot here and create and assign DB. That's it. Let's remove this from here. Put an underscore. It is a good naming convention. Now we can distinguish this underscore DB with this parameter. Okay, it is called parameter and this one is called field. You can see here it is a field, and if we hover our mouse here you will see it is a parameter. So here, so let's just write here add item. Let's assume that it is a void method, and let's assume that we have a user ID which will be string user ID. Let's just say we have it. Okay, and now first we will see that if this user has a cart, just type here public. Actually, let's make a private method here. Private bool has cart string user ID. So let's find here where result equals to cdb dot, let's just say cart shopping carts dot first or default. Here x dot user ID equals to user ID. So we can write here if result equals to null, return true. We can also do that, return result equals to null, doesn't equals to null, then true, otherwise false. And let's name it get card. So let's return this result and let's name it to cart. Okay, then we can find, and it should be a cart, shopping cart. That's it. Let's write here where cart equals to get cart string user ID. Now we are expecting a integer book ID comma quantity. I'll just name it QTY, quantity. That's it. Now we need to find this user ID. So let's see how we can find the user ID. So let's suppose we need this service. We need the user manager and identity user. Identity user, user manager, press Ctrl dot, create and assign field. So from this service we can get the user info that is stored inside the token. Sorry, not token, authentication cookie. Okay, and it should be, let's remove this user manager from here, and we need one more service, private read only ISTTP. I'm just forgetting the name. ISTTP context accessor, I guess I'm right. Context accessor, that's fine. And let's type here ISTTP context accessor, and let's change it to HTTP context accessor, and it should be TTP context accessor underscore. Now let's type here equals to HTTP context accessor, and I'm forgetting something here, that is comma. Okay, now it has stopped yelling at me. Now we have linked these services here, so let's create a private method here that will return us a user ID. Private string get user ID, where user equals to http context accessor dot http context dot user dot, okay, that's it, user. Now it will return us a claim principal. You can see we can also write here claims principal, user equals to claim principal, but var user is also fine. Now where user ID equals to, let's see, user manager. Okay, and let's change here our naming convention, user manager. Okay, that is underscore user manager. User manager dot get user ID, and it is asking us for this parameter, which is claims principal type. So here it is our claims principal, or we can just name it principal. That will make more sense. Now we can get this string user ID. Let's change it to string. So let's return that user ID. Okay, maybe this method is a async method. No, it's not an async method. That is fine. From here we can get our user ID. So let's change it to get user ID. Now we have our user ID, we have our cart. Let's move further. So let's just say if cart is empty, cart is empty means cart is null, then we will create a new cart. So cart equals to new shopping cart ID, user ID equals to user ID. And we are assuming that we do not have this user ID as nullable. Okay, so let's type here bool async task add item, sorry, not add item, async task. Inside this parameter, parenthesis, sorry, it's not parenthesis, it's a angular bracket. Inside these angular bracket we will type bool. Now it is our boolean type. This method will return a boolean value. So here, if user id, if is string dot is null or empty user id, if we don't find this user id, then we will return a false value from here. Okay, so that's it, and this bool should be removed. Okay, now so here is our cart method, get cart method, which is fine, and let's change it to first or default async. Let's change it to async task shopping cart, and it should be await. Now we have to write here await. Okay, because this method is a async method, so we need to use this await once, and we will use it further, this await. So let's see, user id, and one more thing, what we are, okay, that's it. If cart is null, then db dot shopping carts dot add dot cart. Okay, now we need a transaction here because we have to do changes in multiple tables, and we do not want that happen. Suppose we have added a cart, but when we are adding cart details or cart item details, and if we get error in cart details, then these cart item, sorry, this shopping cart will also be removed. Okay, so let me explain it. Suppose we are saving a cart here. Okay, here we have saved a cart. Now when we are adding the values to cart detail, we are getting an error. Now what will happen, these cart detail will not enter to the database, but that cart will be added to database. So that should not happen. Either all of these should happen, otherwise none of it. Okay, either this whole transaction will happen or none of it. That is the ACID property, which is called atomicity. That's why we are using a transaction here. So let's write here using where transaction equals to db dot database dot begin transaction, and we will write here a try block, and here we will have that catch block, exception ex return false. Okay, now we can move further. Now here we have added a card. So if we don't have a card, we will add a value to it correspond to that user. Now we have a value in cart. So now what we will do, here cart dot, sorry, let's see what we can do. Cart Now we need to do now cart details section. Okay, so here we will add cart details. First we will check that where cart item equals to and db dot cart details dot first or default a dot cart shopping cart id equals to cart dot id and a dot book id equals to book id. Okay, so let's put a semicolon here. Now we are finding that if we have a record correspond to this shopping cart id and this book id, if we have this record, okay, so if cart item is not null, then what will happen? So we will simply update the quantity of cart item. So cart item dot quantity plus equals to qty, otherwise we will enter that cart item. So otherwise, let's see what we can do. Okay, cart item equals to new cart detail. Here book id equals to book id, cart shopping cart id equals to shopping cart, cart dot id. That's it. And one more thing, here we should write db dot save changes. Now these changes will be reflected to database and we will get this cart id after saving these changes. So here shopping cart id equals to cart id, and let's see book equals to book not book, quantity equals to qty, and let's just say, do we have any other thing? No, that's it. So db dot cart details dot add cart item, and here we will write db dot save changes. So it is how our cart detail item works. So I'm just thinking that what we are missing here should be a date somewhere. Right, so no, we do not need date here. That's it. That's okay. And by the way, we can add a column here like date if we want, so that we can track that on which date user has added these details. And let's see, do we have added date inside this table? Yes. Okay, so if you want to add create date here, you can also add it. Right now I'm not going to add it. Okay, so this add item is looking just fine, but here we need to do one more thing. db dot sorry not db transaction dot commit. Okay, and from here we will return true. That's it. That's very good. Now it is our cart item. Now let's do the same, and we will write a method for remove item. And here we do not need a quantity, we just need this book ID. That will be fine. And okay, that's just fine. So what we are going to do here, this transaction will be fine, and this user ID is also fine. Okay, cart is null. So here, if we find that this user does not have any cart, then we will simply return false from here, because this condition should not fall. User must have a cart. If he does not have a cart, then how we can remove an item from it? So just return a false from here, or you can also throw an error from here. It's totally up to you. Now here we will write cart item, cart details. Okay, now we are finding the cart details. If cart item is not null, then first we will check if cart item is null, then return false. Okay, we will not move further. If somehow we fall into this category, then we will return from here. Then we can move here to else. It means now cart item is not null. And let's just type here else if cart item dot quantity equals to 1. Okay, then we will do something there. What we will do, we will just remove cart db dot cart details dot remove cart item. Okay, if we have a cart item with quantity 1, then we will simply remove it from the database. Otherwise, what we will do, we will decrease its quantity. So cart item dot quantity minus minus. Or we can just write it cart item dot quantity minus 1. Okay, now we have these three conditions. The first condition will say here, first we will find the cart item like just we did before with the help of this shopping cart ID and this book ID. Now we are checking that if cart item is null, then we will return false. Else if cart item dot quantity equals to 1, then we will remove that item from the cart details table. Otherwise we will simply decrease that quantity by 1, and after that we will write here save changes. And since we are not making changes in multiple tables, then we are not using transactions here. So this method is a very simple one. That's it. So that's how the algo works. So how algo is working here, first we are checking that first we are getting the user ID, then we are finding that if user ID is null or not. If it's null, then we will return from here with false value. Now if it is not null, we will move further and we will get the cart of this user. If cart is null, then we will return with a false value from here. Now we are finding a cart item here with the help of this cart ID and book ID. If we have that cart item exist in the cart details table, then we will move further, otherwise we will return with a false value from here. So if we have that cart item, then we will check that if its quantity is 1. If its quantity is 1, then we will simply remove it from the database or database table, because we cannot decrease it to the 0. 0 means we do not have that item. That's it. Otherwise we will decrease its quantity by 1, and here at last we will do the save changes. We will return a true value from here. So it is our remove item method. Now we will write another method that will be public async task and enumerable. It will return us a cart, shopping cart. Okay, very good. And public async task enumerable. Invalid token. Why I'm getting error here? Public async task, let's just see. It is okay. I didn't define a method name. That was the get user cart. Okay, so it is our get user cart method. So here let's open this cart model here. Cart model, it is here. Okay, so I forget to write this line here because we are doing one-to-many relationship with cart and cart details. So I must add this thing here, public I collection or I list, and it will be a cart detail. Let's just name it cart details. Okay, now what am I doing here? I'm trying to get record from the multiple tables, because if we look at the structure, we have the shopping cart, and this shopping cart have multiple cart details. And if we go here to the cart details, one cart details have book. Okay, so one cart item have a book, and if we go here inside this book, okay, what has opened? Okay, if we go here inside that book have a genre. Okay, So to get the record from all of the tables, I have to join these 4 tables, and I have to write a inner join query for all of these 4 tables. Okay, so what I have done here, let's just go here inside this home repository. Here we are joining just these 2 tables, book and genre, but in this section we have to join the 4 tables. First one will be this shopping cart, then another one will be shopping cart detail or cart detail, third one will be book, and fourth one will be genre. So we need the record from all of these tables. Now we have 2 ways to do it. First way is to do this link query, and we have one more way, which is called getting data from the related data of the table. So we will use include method here for that. Okay, we can do in this way also, like we did here before. We can simply also write this query, but we are using different approach this time. I'm gonna show you we have one more approach to do this, that's why, and it will also save a little bit of time of our right now. So we will just write here where cart equals to, let's just say shopping cart equals to db dot shopping cart, but first we need to find the user. So where user id equals to get user id. Okay, so if user id equals to null, then throw exception. Just pass this message. Okay, so now we will type here shopping carts, that's fine, and dot include a dot cart details. Okay, now we will include then a dot this cart detail will have a book. Good, then this book will have genre, a dot genre. So now we are connecting these 4 tables with these lines. Now we will simply write here a dot user id equals to user id. Okay, now we can return the shopping cart from here, but first we need to write here to list async and we can just write here await, I guess, shopping cart. Now non-invocable exception cannot be used like a method throw new exception. I guess we should be fine here. Okay, now we have this get user cart method also, so let's shrink it also here. So what we are going to do, we are going to create an interface for this cart repository. So I'm going to write here I cart repository, press control dot, and this control dot is not working, so I have to make this interface manually. It's okay, we can do it. Let's add a new interface. Let's name is I cart repository. That's it. Now let's copy this name and paste it here. Very good. Now we are going to copy this section, paste it here. Fine. Now we need to copy this section also. Okay, just paste it here. Now let's copy this section, copy it here. We have these three methods: add item, remove item, and get user card. Okay, now we need to register these services here inside the program.cs file. So just paste it, and I cart repository. It should be a cart repository. That's it. So I think we have created a cart repository here. Now I hope that all of these methods are working fine, but we will test them later when we create our interfaces. So that's it for this section. In the next section, what we will learn, we will create a user interface or try to add items to the cart of that user. Okay, so that's it for now. We will catch up in the next lesson.